And so when you go to start, like it makes sense, right? A lot of not necessarily professional athletes, but a lot of like content creators and stuff now are realizing, wait a second, if the advertising is valuable to the advertiser, like it's probably valuable to me too, right? Like I should
That's
probably
right.
go build this stuff. How are you going about, this is a couple of years ago, so it's not like, the internet and kind of all the tools we have today, but when you go to start that backpack company or that skateboard company or whatever, like, are you literally doing it by yourself? Are you building teams? Are you trying to use other tools? Like just walk through kind of like operationally how you were trying to do it.
Such a good question. So I learned through experience the importance of building a team, and that was because I was still skateboarding, right? Like I said, I had a point where I was still skateboarding. I was trying to start businesses, and each one demands so much time. So the only way you're able to do two things at once is if you have people come together and help you achieve both together. And so the first company I started, and it's not even the first few, I had to find people to help me operate them from a day-to-day standpoint because I wasn't able to dedicate that much time. So how I would do it in the beginning was I would spend a lot of time creating the company, helping create the team, and launching it. And then once the point of launching it, then I was able to free up some time to then put towards skateboarding and then participate heavily on the marketing side and then any of like the bigger picture decisions and conversation. And then that led to, which is awesome, when I started my next company, when it was 100% business and no longer skateboarding, I was already trained that I need people to help me create this vision. It's not possible for me to do it alone. And so that was a huge learning lesson that I was fortunate to learn through this hybrid model of me still skating.
And were you one of the first skaters to kind of say, hey, wait a second, rather than advertise somebody else's stuff, I'll just create my own? Or did you learn that from somebody?
Learned it. So there was a skateboarder called Jamie Thomas, and he was so influential to me because one, I saw him in a video one time, like he was filming one of the skaters, and he was like one of the gnarliest, best pro skateboarders of all time. And I saw him in a video filming another skater. I was like, whoa, this guy films also? And then I found out that he owned the company he rode for, which was Zero. And then he ended up starting a shoe company called Fallen. And he was the first example where I went, oh my gosh, skaters can be more than skaters. They could own the things they're doing. And so he was, I think, the first example that I saw. And then there were a handful of others, but truthfully, not that many.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. And then in terms of walking away from skating, you pretty much had spent, it sounds like, almost 20 years of your life doing this, maybe even more. Why stop? Like, what was kind of the impetus for saying, all right, maybe I shouldn't do this anymore?
So, okay, remember how I told you when skateboarding became a job for me? I had to find a new love in it. So there was a point where, like, whatever, I loved skateboarding. And then all of a sudden, the pressure and the requirements, there was a time where I didn't like it anymore. And I ended up falling in love with the business side of my skate career. And that happened around the same time of me getting a shoe. And I started experiencing, everything that goes into selling products, sales, marketing, design. I was fascinated by it. And once I got a first shoe, then I started looking at, okay, I can do tricks, but how can I reach more people? What platforms can I get on to grow my audience, and how can I connect with them? That is then in turn going to help me sell more product. And I started loving that process. And then even when I started my first company, it just started reinforcing this new passion that I enjoy building something. And so with my skateboarding and why it ended up ending, I had my sponsors. I had two sponsors that were my main income, ended up letting me go. And it was at a point where I had just had surgery. And so I was laying on the couch, got a call, all of my income went away. And I was probably, 12 months, maybe 11 months away from being 100%, being recovered 100%. And so I kind of had to make a decision. It was like, okay, I'm 34 years old. I have passion for the business side. I can't skateboard for another year. I have no income coming in. What are my options? And I looked at it as my options were, I can heal try to get more sponsors, and maybe I'm 2 years out possibly from making money again as a pro skateboarder, or I use this time as the time to truly step away. And I looked at it as even if I tried to get sponsored again, I was only trying to delay the inevitable, because I only have so much time for sponsors to pay me. And so I ended up stepping away, and it was brutal. It wasn't easy. It was such a hard decision, because I expected my career to end a certain way, and it ended such a different way. And I think all of us naturally want things to happen on our terms, and it didn't. And there was a point where I had to wrestle with that and then ultimately accept it. But that's ultimately why, because it no longer became a career. And then I lost the new purpose I had in skateboarding, because now the business element wasn't there either.
Yeah. And before we get into what you did after your skate career, do you still skate, and how often?
I still skate, not like I used. I mean, when I say I was obsessed, even as a pro, I would skate 5 hours a day, every single day for probably 20 something years, like thousands and thousands and thousands of hours. Now, I don't know, once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks.
That's still a lot. I mean, for the average person, that's definitely a lot, right?
For the average, I would say for the average 36-year-old who has 3 kids and a business that he's doing full time, that's a pretty good amount.
I love it.